How tough is Japanese mother? I'm a foreign mother living in Japan with my family. So this topic is about how tough is Japanese mother in my very own view. In my son's kindergarten, for every new student and the mothers, we are required to prepare a speech to introduce ourselves and our kid. So as I don't speak Japanese very much, I checked with my Japanese husband if I should prepare a speech, and he would then translate for me. And what I understand from him is that it's just going to be a very simple introduction. So all you need to do is just mention your name, your kid's name, and then you say Yoroshiku onegaishimasu in Japanese, and that is more than enough. When the speech day comes, I was quite nervous, and to top it up, all the mothers, every single one of them prepare very good speech, and they elaborate their kids' character, likes and dislikes, brief story of their family background, and you don't get to see who is nervous or intimidating. They are all very confident. So this got me thinking, why? As in my very own culture, we surely can find all kinds of people like those who are outspoken, or even the very average one and not so good at public speaking kind, like I used to be and still I am. It's not uncommon to have different kinds of characteristics in a community. My son's class has 0 shy mothers. So I concluded Japanese culture emphasizes in educating the young kids to be outspoken, and this is like a duty in everybody. This seems like a standard. No one will back off or behave distantly, and to make sure to always be part of the community. Like your shyness or your social anxiety is not an excuse here, and it's still your job to speak clearly to make sure you bring across the message. They are good public speakers. Sense of responsibility is another trait they have. So everyone knows that I am a foreigner and doesn't speak any Japanese. So during the first day of school, their father formally introduced themselves to my husband just to offer help to me. Apparently he has this wife who is an English teacher. So if I needed any help in Japanese translation, she can translate into English for me. They also have a Chinese-speaking Japanese mother who happened to live in Shanghai for a few years, and she came to offer help to me as well. Aside offering to translate Japanese for me, there are different fathers who will be wearing this school badge thing on the arm, standing at the gate of the school just to help smoothen the traffic and just to greet everybody good morning. It's like a volunteer thing. And amazingly, there are so many fathers took turns to help out in the morning, and they will get nothing in return. It's not something like how Singapore practice in order for your kid to enter the very good school. The parents have to volunteer to clean the school, etc. In Japan, the school doesn't repay your extra kindness, and the parents ask nothing in return. Japanese moms are very fashionable too, in a harmony and purposeful way. Harmony in the sense they wear their outfits according to the season. As to in spring, you get to see brighter tone, summer more colorful tone, autumn more earthy, and winter as similar as the autumn. So I don't mean they spend money on clothes very much. More too, they try to play along with everyone else in the community. Like, even we don't speak to each other very much, we have a common thinking that hey, it's the autumn time, let's have something navy or brown to wear. It's really like a very let's do it all together thing. So if you know nothing about this, you'll feel like you are missing out something, and why no one tells me to wear this color. In terms of weather, here fashion is also like to wear gear to protect yourself from the bad weather. Back in Singapore and Malaysia, it's raining season most of the time as well. In Japan, it's the same. The road here is more uneven in certain areas. Most people are riding bicycle or walking in Japan. So a proper set of rain gear becomes very important. They have a very adorable raincoat, rain boots, stroller cover, or even bicycle cover for both the kids and the mothers. Do you ever wonder why Japanese kids always wear those cute rain boots? Yes, because they care about protecting themselves very much. They gear out only to look cool, to stay clean, clean and neat. In the Japanese fashion standard is always start with the most basic one, that is about cleanliness. If you own a pair of very expensive Jimmy Choo but you have dust or sands in your shoes, right? You are as good as know nothing about fashion. To stay clean and protect yourself from the bad weather are the prerequisite to be fashionable in Japan. As I've mentioned, most of them riding bicycle here. So most of the mothers here own a mom bike. In Japan, they call mamachari. It's a medium-sized bicycle that can hold up to 2 passenger chairs at the back and at the front of the bicycle seat. They are actually quite expensive but they are super stable. So mothers on mamachari bicycle can be fetching up to 3 kids at the front, 1 at the back, and mom herself will be carrying an infant on the chest. This kind of scenery is very common in Japan. Every morning when I was on the way sending my kids to school by walk, especially when I had a bad day and having all these negative thoughts in my mind, when there's a mamachari passes me by with 3 kids on her, my negative thought immediately disappeared. I'm like, how can I be such a whiny when this mother is looking so effortless carrying 3 kids with her on the bicycle? She must be going through a lot, still choose to stay brave and strong. Like, my issues are nothing compared to hers. This image of the mother riding the mamachari with 3 kids has engraved in my mind very much. Japanese mothers are resilient and physical stronger, tougher. I can't even ride a normal bicycle on my own very well. The last trait is they are organized. This organize applies to not just the household shuno. Shuno as in, I don't know whether you heard of the Marie Kondo tidying up professional who does shuno. This also applies to meal planning. So back then when I was in Singapore, I often order food delivery as I can't cope with the household chores. I was always very tired. I was very bad at cooking as well. I was not organized and did not know there are much better ways to simplify things. So there is this super important and helpful tips from my mother-in-law that changed my life big time. That is, plan the meal in advance and make good use of microwave. Microwave is very important in Japan. I understand a lot of you will be thinking food cooked or heated up by microwave could be quite poisonous or unhealthy. That is somehow not the case. My husband's grandparents has been using microwave at least half of their lifetime and they are still very healthy now in their 90s. So look at Japan's old age population and you will know microwave doesn't kill people. And yes, it's true that it's true that most of them are using microwave every single day. This is how my mother-in-law made use of the mighty microwave. Back in Singapore, I often cook rice and not knowing how much should I cook, as I'm not sure if my husband is going to come home late or early. So most of the time, I will discard the remaining rice if no one is eating anymore. Same goes for dishes. And in some of the Chinese family, we have this belief that eating overnight food is unhealthy and is a sign of a sad life or poverty. So I grew up in not so open-minded Chinese family. As in, I'm not trying to belittle Chinese culture here. I'm very proud of my Chinese roots. So this is what I've been taught. Okay, about the use of microwave and sidetrack the topic a little bit. If you are not interested, please skip to the back of the video to watch my ending speech, as I would like to thank you sincerely for watching just the beginning part of the video. Sidetrack story point 1. Always cook 5 cups of rice, which is the maximum amount of an average size rice cooker. Eat whatever you have to and freeze the remaining rice in the Tupperware, or you can just wrap it up in the food film just like this. Make sure to store it in the freezer unless you plan to eat it the next day, so you can just store in the fridge area. Sidetrack story point 2. Lunch is all about heating up the frozen food from last night, or it can go for as long as even a week ago. I like to cook minced meat like the Thai basil minced meat steak. I will keep the remaining minced meat in the freezer, wrap it up just like this, so that when it's frozen, you can just crack it out like how you crack a dark chocolate. Crack the portion that you need to eat and heat it up by the microwave. Same goes for the frozen rice. And there you go, my lunch is settled. And it's still healthy as it's home cooked It's delicious, time and cost saving. I've been doing this for the last 8 months now and I've never placed any food delivery so far. And remember, I used to be the number one person who must place all kinds of food delivery every day. I mean, occasionally I get some cheap bentos from the supermarket. I usually eat home cooked food now. And trust me, I am a much happier person now as I do not waste food anymore. Always plan your meal at least one day or as far as a week in advance. This is a very important subject the night before you go to sleep. It will make your next day better if you already have the idea of what to cook for the next day meal. Do not follow your appetite on that day. Be sure to be disciplined to follow, to eat whatever that is pre-planned. You will say, eat frozen food and the pre-planned menu. So if I'm craving for certain food now and I can't have them, I must eat the food that I cooked yesterday. Yes, that's right. That also explains why all the Japanese women here are so slim and slender. For every good and purposeful life, there is some price to pay. You can't have best of the both. You see, other than to organize the frozen food and advanced meal planning, the Japanese mother organize their laundry as well. I used to depend on a laundry dryer, but now not anymore. Do better job than laundry dryer. I can slay airing laundry just like the other Japanese mom. I will do a video about the technique to air laundry that I learned from my mother-in-law, and there are many more things the Japanese mother are tough at. So those are the major traits that I learned from the Japanese mothers here, namely my mother-in-law. I may take different views few months or few years down the road staying in Japan. I will never know depending on how long I'll be here. What I'm sure right now is this experiences spending time together with all the mothers that I know in Japan from my son's kindergarten has opened up my eyes and shown me how much more of a better person I can be. They are really amazing. And my mother-in-law, who I would say is one of the most competent women that I have met in my life in terms of time management, hard work, and organize. The skill to organize things is super. And I hope the information that I'm sharing here is good enough for you.